Um, yeah, it's I'm the female role. Every time I walk into the room, they're like, "Boo! You ruined our vibe." My husband's like the three characters, and my son is like Danny DeVito, sort of, because he throws up all the time and he's short. So, my 7-year-old, please feel free to unmute yourselves. I need that laughter. That's
Yes.
I didn't get enough attention as a child, clearly. But no, my son is just, it's amazing to me how he like comes up with all these like roasts so quickly. Like, first of all, he was kind enough to edit my business card. I'll show it to you guys right now. Here's my new business card. Comedian, crossed out. Actress, crossed out. And, crossed out. Writer, crossed out. I'm not even an and now. We were watching, we've been overeating and not exercising as much as we should be. So we were watching 600-Pound Life. And I'm like to my son, I'm really, I'm really worried. I don't want us, to be 600 pounds. And he was like, yeah, because you don't want to be on a really good show. He's like, you're in the bedroom doing your virtual comedy shows. Meanwhile, these people, they're on TLC getting some really good attention and losing weight. I'm gonna get outside of my son's headspace now. But yeah, like I told you, I can't complain too much. My son is schooling from home. My husband is working from home, and I'm hiding in the bathroom. Yeah, Shining. It is The Shining. That's so yeah, school, colleges, and libraries, they're deemed unessential. Liquor stores deemed essential. So finally, the world has my perspective. Yeah, I hate this virus because it's killing people and people are losing their jobs. But I gotta tell you, a close third for me is that I've had to talk to my mother every day. A few weeks ago, I couldn't do it anymore. I'm not seeing a therapist. I couldn't talk to her every day. So she told your old son that if he talks to her, she's going to pay him $5 for 5 minutes. Yesterday was his second day. And after 4 minutes, he was like, I quit. I can't do this. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird, right? We were having all these great movements before this, like equal pay for equal work and the Me Too movement. And now this virus comes along and it's like, stay the fuck home and cook. I don't know. I find that suspicious. Yeah. Trump is he constantly is calling it the Chinese virus, right? Trump is so racist and old that I think we're surprised he's not calling it the Oriental virus. Terrible. Yeah. My husband, he gave himself a really cool mustache and a haircut, and my son was like, I love the mustache because he looks like his favorite singer, Freddie Mercury from Queen. And honestly, like, I didn't think I was gonna get over this quarantine a sugar daddy and a leather daddy. Kind of digging it. And yeah, but he's like, but your haircut, you do look like a neo-Nazi. So I'm gonna have to work on that haircut. My son insisted we watch Bohemian Rhapsody. I don't know if you guys seen it. Movie about Queen. I gotta tell you, yeah, it was pretty good. But it was kind of uncomfortable telling a 7-year-old how AIDS is contracted. It wasn't a great movie night choice. It wasn't. He's insisting we watch Brokeback Mountain now. So, yeah, he's been having a lot of questions, a lot of questions about the birds and the bees, and I am so happy to be with you guys while my husband's out there explaining it to him. Such a good mom. He last week I had another virtual show, and they had a big talk. My son comes back, and I'm like, I thought he was going to be a changed guy. And my husband's like, yeah, he wasn't too interested. And my 7-year-old goes, yeah, whatever. The penis goes to the vagina. Now get to fucking work because I want a baby brother or sister. He's been constantly telling us to get to work and have the sex. So, yeah. And we have nowhere to go. We just have to listen to him. I guess, there is some silver linings, I finally discovered and have more time for makeup tutorials and Pornhub. So not that bad. And I'm learning a lot about royalty. Like Prince Charles, he had COVID-19, and thanks to Tiger King, I know now what a Prince Albert does. It's a penis ring. I think we're learning a lot at this point, right? I had to look that up. All right. So yeah, I'm Russian Jewish. My husband is Italian American. He's Catholic, and my son goes to Catholic school because we're really trying to confuse him at this point. And it's very unfortunate that I have to be his religion teacher, and I have to teach him about Jesus, which Jesus, great guy. He really sounds amazing. But I was proud to tell my son the truth. Like, my son was like, Jesus had like 20 women around him, I'm like, yeah, but they were all his platonic friends. And he had like 12 good looking guys constantly follow him around. And my 7-year-old was like, yeah, Mom, you're right. Jesus was gay. I was proud of that lesson. This is fun, guys. Yeah, I've been having a lot of weird dreams. First time ever, I woke up screaming, and my husband comes in, and he was like, I thought you were being attacked. And I was like, I was, by a giant pastry spaceship. It was about to land on my head. And a few days before that, he was like, we'll never know if you have dementia. See what he means now. I think my time is done. I'll end on dementia. And really, really good seeing you guys. Thank you to the host. Thank you, Amy and Matt. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Lana. Thank you, Lana.
Thanks.
It's so nice to hear about everybody's time with their family in quarantine. It just makes me better about mine. You guys, those of you who joined us during our first comedian, that was Lana. Her information, her Instagram is in our chat.
This process with us on Thursday.
Yes, ever said that? Sure. You guys, we're the Tiny Cupboard. We're gonna put our link in the chat. So if you feel so inclined to donate, all of our donations go to all the performers and people that put on the show tonight. We split them. And it's just something nice. With that being said, I think we're just gonna keep on rolling. You guys, our next comedian has a really, really funny YouTube channel, and I'm gonna put the link in the chat so you can check him out. He is hysterical. Give a big round of applause for Christopher Barnes.
Yay. Awesome. Hey, guys. First off, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. because in the world of virtual comedy, having a good internet connection is one of the most important things. It's not who you know, okay? It's if you have Verizon or not. That's what really you get ahead. I just want to do a quick shout out to my aunt who's watching. Really awesome. Thank you, Aunt Betsy, for watching. And then also a quick shout out to the person named Lordy, who his face is the Golden Gate Bridge. So that's really awesome. I love seeing familiar faces. So it's really awesome. So I'm coming to you live from my parents' basement, or not basement, my parents' attic on Long Island. And I've created like a studio here. I'm using a bed sheet. And I look like I'm hosting a really boring NPR podcast up here. But I'm in my attic and I'm finding like a lot of interesting things. Like I feel like boomer attics have a lot of like both really cool and really scary things in them. Like for instance, I came up here and I found a ukulele, which is pretty cool, right? But then I also found a really creepy religious photo here. I don't know what this is. That is very scary to me. I'm not sure, but. And then I also found like this really cool, like old NHL action figure from the 90s. Like this is probably worth some money. But then I also found just the scariest mask I've ever seen in my entire life. This is a real, this is up here. Like, I don't know what this is from. I don't know how many people my dad has murdered, but this is the evidence.
That's your dad's.
Yeah. So, my Aunt Betsy, your diploma's probably up here somewhere too. So, this is a very, welcome to the Barn Show. This is a very family-oriented thing. So, anyone else like trying to stay like fit during quarantine? You're trying to exercise? Anyone else? Make some type of noise. Okay, cool. I'm like trying to exercise, right? But I'm trying to run. Like I ran 3 miles today, but I just started like doing like research on like calories. And do you know how many calories running 3 miles burns? Does anyone know?
200 something.
Yeah,
100.
it's like it's barely 300 calories, right? That is insane, considering that one bite-sized Snickers is 350 calories. So I basically have annihilated a 3-mile run with one Snickers. I did the math. And with the amount of Snickers that I ate last night, I have to run 48 miles tomorrow to even come close. This just isn't fair. Also, does anyone else like have their home gym set up? Anyone? Yeah.
Yes.
I was not prepared for this quarantine because my home gym consists of 2 weights, like both just not from the same set, like 2 random weights, 115, 110. They're both from 1985. And then then like an abicizer from 1976. Like that's, and then colored bands. Does anyone else have colored bands? What do you do with colored bands? I have no idea what they're for. It's just not good.
Colored bands.
Thank you for repeating my joke. Okay. So I don't know if you guys can tell from looking at me, but you're right. All of my friends are white also. It's not a good thing, you know? Like my friends, like they're really white. Like my 4 best friends, their names are Connor, Dan, Tom, and Peter. Yeah. We're a James Cody and Brian away from starting a lacrosse team. It's not good. It's really, really white. I'm loving this delayed response because I can't tell if I'm killing or if I'm bombing. It's awesome. I'm awesome to see that this is also live on YouTube. I didn't even know that you could do that. So that's good. Everyone can see me. I don't know. Interesting things about me. My ex-girlfriend is a lesbian. Thank you guys very much. Thank you. I'm proud of that. I feel like I'm really happy for her. Like I'm glad that she like found out who she was. But as a guy, I feel like that's a pretty bad letter grade to get on a relationship. Like white guys, we're not doing too well right now. I don't know if you guys know, but white guys aren't doing too well.
Yeah.
Like we're like the Macy's of people, right? Like everything you hear about us isn't good, but somehow we're still in business. I don't really understand. Doesn't make sense. I think it's actually good that like if you dated someone like I'm glad my ex-girlfriend's a lesbian because I don't have to compare myself to like a new boyfriend that she would get, right? I don't have to be like, oh, I could take that guy. Like I could live my life, right? All I have to do is compare myself to a girl who has the same haircut, jean jacket, and taste in music as me. So the joke is that I look like a lesbian. I'll explain all of it. I have notes. I'll explain all of my jokes. I'll write them out. The quiz at the end. This is good. So I'm a pretty big fan of history. Like I'm a pretty big that's a big subject that I like. And right now we're going through a pretty historical moment with the pandemic and everything. But there's also been a lot of interesting historical moments over the course of history. Like one of my favorite is Prohibition. You guys familiar with Prohibition? That's when they made alcohol illegal in the United States for a period of time, which I think is crazy that they did that. Because think about how hungover you have to be. Okay, before I continue with this joke, can you guys see me? Because I just had something say my internet is unstable, which I've never seen before. So, are we good?
Yeah.
I've never had that been described about my internet connection as unstable. Okay. All right, continue the joke. Okay, what was I gonna say? Do you know how hungover you have to be to want to make alcohol illegal? Like that is insane to me. That's crazy. Like that was a bill they had to propose on the floor of Congress, right? They had to like go up and they're like, all right, the senator from Pennsylvania, he has a new bill. And this guy comes up, he's really hungover. He's just like, Jesus Christ. Okay. Wow. All right. Oh, God. Can we turn these lights off? Wow. Oh man, it's bright in here. All right. We need 3 things here today. We need a bill, some Gatorade, and a bacon, egg, and cheese. That's what we need. My God. But I'm a single guy. Is anyone else single out there? Is anyone else out there? Full stop. All I see is the Golden Gate Bridge. I don't know if people are here. This is scary.
I'm here.
Okay.
We're here.
Cool. I'm glad Lordy's there. Are you okay with looking like the Golden Gate Bridge? Does that bother you at all, or are you?
Where is that? Who's the Golden Gate?
Does anyone not see? All right. If you scroll through your amount of people to the left, there is a person named Lordy.
Lordy. Okay, I'm looking for you, Lordy.
Who is the Golden Gate Bridge? Who just is a bridge?
I don't know how you don't
like
see it.
because I don't have a green
Constantly the
screen.
one that's on my on my screen too is the Golden Gate Bridge. That's all I see too.
I don't know if she left. She might have left because I'm outing her right now.
I'm
But
still here.
No, she's there.
Everyone leave
I see her.
alone.
you're giving way too much attention to her. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done this. I just appreciate bridges. That's all. That's good. All right. I was talking about me. Okay. I'm a single guy. I like being single. I'm a bit picky as a single guy though. Like as a blonde-haired man, I'm only attracted to women that are brunette. And that's mainly because I like to be dominated genetically. if you get that joke, you paid attention in science class. So good for you.
Yes.
That's a very rare recessive gene joke. Okay, those don't come easy. All right, those are very very rare. All right,
Yeah.
they're like Pokemon cards. Okay. I'm actually. Is anyone here using their dating apps during this pandemic? Anyone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Using that.
Yeah.
Wow. The guy who popped up looked like the guy who would use dating apps the most. Thank you, Garrett. But listen. You look like my friend Kyle, so this makes sense. It's all good. But yeah, I'm actually developing my own dating app. Do you guys want to hear about it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my dating app, as you know, most dating apps they match you based upon your likes and your interests, right? My dating app is a little bit different. I will match people based upon their flaws and insecurities. So we're calling it cringe. Coming out soon. Look out for it in the App Store. How much time do I have left? Does anyone doing a stopwatch on this?
A private message, and your 8 minutes is up.
Oh, so I'm way over. I blew past the light.
Little.
I shouldn't have spent so much time talking about the bridge. I wish if I could go back, I would have ignored the bridge. All right, guys. Well, that's it for me. Thank you guys very much for checking this out. Check out my aforementioned YouTube channel, and we'll see you later.
Find that brunette, Chris.
Yes. Chris's YouTube channel has been posted quite a few times because I copy and pasted it accidentally just a bunch. So it's in the chat, y'all. Check them out. Also, Zoom shows are really hard, so bear with us, everyone.
I just want to point out how this song.
It's really hard to communicate about timing. So everyone, again, we're the Tiny Cupboard. Thanks for joining us. We've got another show after this, which is another comedy show called Rude Bartender. Last week was our first time trying it out. We're putting it up again this week. Our comedians are our rude bartenders, and the audience, you are the customers. It's really fun. So definitely give it a check out if you have free time. With that being said, I am going to jump us in to our next comedian. And I want to, our next comedian, you guys, is Meagan O'Malley. And you're really busy in quarantine. You can check her out every Wednesday on Instagram Live at 8 p.m. with Barely Making It. And her and another comedian of the night also have a show, Socially Distant Improv Prevents Quarantine 15 on IG every Friday and Saturday. That's Meagan and Christiana, and I'll say that again before you go up. But everyone give a warm round of applause for Meagan O'Malley.
Yay.
To see familiar faces going on here. It looks like all the tiny little boxes. I love it. I'm going to point out, you might hear some traffic in the background. I have to have a window open, I'm not a caged animal. And the BQE is right outside my window. I like to pretend it's the waves and we're at the beach. That's called a delusion, but it gets me through the day. Great. Now, speaking of my delusion, we're at the beach. You might have noticed there's a surfboard on my wall, and some of you are like, wow, that's cool. She surfs. I don't. This should be pointed out now. I do not surf. I would love to surf. Man, I'd love to live that life. That's a resting board. I take that to the bay, and I take a nap on it, or I have my plastic wine glass, and I enjoy myself like the classy lady that I am. I would love to be a surfer, but I have a healthy fear of the sea. And the thing is, from pirates, specifically pirate royalty. So the thing is that if anyone's going to die from the sea in this Zoom situation, it's me, okay? I'm numbered. My people have done a lot of horrible things over the years, and eventually it catches up. And I could be the one to have to go. Great. Speaking of that, I was going through my phone the other day. looking at photos, you know, like we all are doing. We're like, oh, remember that time? Oh, that was so nice when we were outside all hanging out. What a beautiful smiling, and you're so happy, and you're just like, why am I crying? I'm just happy. And you just, because you're feeling. It's when we have any emotions now, all of a sudden they just like all explode. But so I'm going through my phone and I found one from January 3rd. January 3rd, guys, 2020, this year, beginning of this year. How did this year start off in my photo history? Well, I work in an office on 46 off of Times Square. Cool. Right after New Year's Eve. Put that all in your head. We all know what Times Square looks like. Anywhere in the world would know it looks like a shit show, and there's confetti all over the place still. So I'm walking to work and I see this pigeon laying on the ground, dead, on a pile of confetti, like it's a bed. And it's like it's its funeral. And I walked by and I looked at the pigeon and I was like, wow, so sad. And then I kept going. And then I had to go to FedEx later because that's part of my job. And I walked by the pigeon again and I was like, I gotta take its photo. Now I'm supposed to remember this pigeon for some reason. And it looks pretty cool. This is gonna get a lot of likes on Instagram. My ears. If that's an omen. I was being told, like, if we learned anything from watching Alfred Hitchcock films, like the man fucked up, went real dark, making a lot of good points. Maybe don't go to a weird hotel, take a shower, and don't lock the door. You might die. Okay, birds are acting crazy. Something might be up. Cool. And the third one is, now that we're all sitting in our windows all the time, looking outside and making up stories. Yeah, rear window. Window staring is dangerous, okay? We are in week 10. We're still doing good, guys. We're still doing good, but be careful, the situations. I keep making it like the couples are fighting as they walk by, and she's just like, we can go a little bit slower. He's like, no, it's a pandemic. We have to go faster. But that's what's happening. My window. I don't know what's happening in your window. Also, what's happening in my window is that there are 2 trees across the street that I watch all the time, and they got plastic bags, and I can't get to that height to go get the plastic bags. Now, the thing that I would need would be like a good, like, tight leather belt that I can like throw around and get myself up by hoisting. I'm not that strong upper arm, but I don't have the belt. So we don't have to embarrass me out there trying to get the bag out of the tree. But the leaves have come in on this tree, so I can't see it in the big one. It's gone. I know the bag is still there. Now the little, that little tiny little babe tree that's still growing, the leaves aren't coming in. It's always late. You know, that's what they're a little bit slower, but they'll catch up. They will. They got their whole life ahead of it. That one, I can see the bag, and it just taunts me every single day. Thanks for letting me share. I shared that with my mom, and now she texts me every time she sees a bag in a tree because she wants me to know that it's not just these trees, it's everywhere. Environment. Like now I'm like, oh, I gotta quit my job because I have to go and clean the trees because we're in that plastic bag in the tree. I don't know what's going on. But this wouldn't be the first time I've gone down a deep hole with a tree. Thank you for asking. I was in South Africa. I was in Cape Town on a mountaintop overlooking the water during sunset. Who's an asshole? I am. That's the best scenario ever. Now later, I'm just like chilling out, like relaxing. Everything's like calm down. I'm a person again. I start staring at this tree. And then I decided to journal my feelings about that tree and how I believe that the first people, actually, they didn't know how to communicate. So what they did is they rooted themselves into the ground and they became stiff and turned into trees. And that's why we have the relationship with them. And of course, I was on drugs while I had that. But these are my thoughts for you to hear and to be like, oh, well, it's a good thing that she told us she was on drugs. Because if she wasn't on drugs, I'd probably just think that she was crazy. No, I just have a very like bouncy personality. It's not crazy. It's safe. Don't worry, I'm the safe one. Oh, great, aren't we? I don't know about you guys, but it's not that I'm feeling dumber during this whole time. I just don't think that I'm progressing as a person. You know, it's like I've had 2 concussions. So sometimes I have to do a little bit of extra work to keep the brain activity going so I can remember things. And I was doing real great before this. And all of a sudden everything starts slowing down. And I need the think box to really be up to speed, because how's it going to come out of the mouthpiece in one form? I don't know. But we just keep moving along, you know? I'm very excited for this, and I don't know if anybody else is going to be as excited about this as I am. I can't wait until someone steps forward and says, well, I know how to fix everything with this corona situation. We don't send the women back to work. You see, we keep them at home, because that's how we got into this whole situation. We should never have given them equal rights. That's why people are dying, because women are in the workplace. So get them back in the kitchen and out of the boardroom. Yeah, cool. Thanks so much, guys. I'm Meagan O'malley.
Thanks, Megan.
Thank you, Megan. I feel bad because I'm falling into the trope of a housewife at my family's home. I'm doing all of the laundry, the cleaning, the cooking. And I'm like, oh no, it's happened. They got me.
Yeah. They got me. They got me.
This is it. You guys, thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Megan. We are the Tiny Cupboard, and we run completely off of donations. So we'll put our link. And again, if you feel so inclined, we appreciate any donations coming our way. They're split between everyone putting on these shows for you tonight. And without further ado, our next lady up, like I said, is a pair with Megan on their shows on Friday and Saturday. I'll put that information in the chat too. Give a big round of applause for Christiana Jackson.
Hey, what's up, guys? Everyone, give it up for Joanne. Give it up for Tiny Cupboard. God, so great to have something to do. Thank you guys for joining us and laughing through your dinners. Wow. And hungrier by the minute. You guys are really eating some good shit, and some of you are flirting virtually, which is really weird. I'm sorry. I didn't laugh at any of the comics because there's a whole Zoom romance happening. I don't know if anyone saw it, but laugh at me. Don't get distracted by it. I shouldn't have brought it up. People are blowing kisses and shit, man. Some of us are quarantined alone, and we're too horny to look at that, okay? Be considerate of those of us who are by ourselves, okay? I'm just saying. Also, it's really weird. Okay, anyway, this year is fucked, right? 2020 is fucked. It's really terrible, but I'm kind of okay with it because I already accomplished my New Year's resolution for this year. My New Year's resolution for 2020 was just to own a second bra. That was my goal. It dawned on me last year, like there are more dudes with photos of my tits than bras that I've owned over my entire lifetime. So it was time to step it up, right? It's time. This is the problem though. You guys can only see my shoulders. You can't see anything down, but I have really big tits. And so it's getting harder and harder for me to find places where I can buy bras, because I'm moving too far down the alphabet. I'm running out of what happens when I get to the end? Do I have to start all over again in a different alphabet? Is that how it works? Like, are the next bras gonna be in Greek? I don't know. I'm not sure. These things keep me up at night. I'll tell you what I do know. You know your tits are getting too big when you start to count how many vowels you have left. It's problematic. Some women, they're A cups, so they never make it to the consonants. Me, I'm at 2.5 if you sometimes Y. Oh, it's terrible. Like I said, it's really problematic, but I got it done. I got more than 2 bras, so I feel very successful. The rest of the year can go to hell. It's fine. We don't get along. She's got regular tits, but that's not why we don't get along, okay? It's not why at all. We don't get along because she's not fun, you know? She's not like me. She takes herself very seriously. I'll give you an example. When she turned 30, I called her up and I was like, hey, happy birthday. 30 is a big year. Like, what are your plans? Now, I thought she was gonna say something like travel or get into a relationship. Instead, she said, you know, I really want to join some kind of genius or high IQ society. And I was like, wow, Danielle. And yet you weren't smart enough to keep that to yourself, right? I mean, come on. 30 years old, no one cares anymore, right? It doesn't matter. This isn't high school. The other thing is, like, she is very smart. She's very accomplished, but she's no genius, you know? And I know because later that year, I had to explain to her the difference between archaeology and anthropology. Like, no, Danielle, listen to me. Archaeology is the study of rocks. Anthropology is a store that makes rich white ladies look ethnic. I don't know how, right? Anyone here fuck with anthropology? Clap it up. Do anyone shop anthropology? Betsy, I'm looking at you. You got some anthro vibes. No? Lana, whatever you shop anthropology, right?
Me?
You got I don't know what
It's expensive.
What?
I don't have
Sometimes,
that
right? Sale on sale. That's where these curtains are from, actually. These curtains are from anthropology. Makes my house look ethnic. My sister and I, we both shop there, which is nuts because, like, it is an expensive store, and we didn't grow up with money. Both of our parents were actually in the performing arts, so we grew up poor, Black, but not ghetto. And basically, growing up poor, Black, but not ghetto meant that we were too Black for brunch, yet not Black enough for a barbecue. There's a lot of pain and missed food behind that joke, but I'm glad you guys liked it, right? That made it all worth it.
Oh no,
I'm eating all of my missed foods right now. But so yeah, this is the thing. Like one day when I was in the store, after explaining to a woman, no, I don't work here. I shop here, just like you. I had a moment and I was like, oh my God, yeah. Like I shop here. I think I've made it out of poverty. You know, I think I've made it in life. And then I started to reflect more and I was like, you know, I do yoga regularly. I casually snack on pistachios. That's a classy nut, guys, right? It's like right under macadamia. It's not a poor people's nut. But like the pinnacle, the absolute peak. One time I paid a man to leave my apartment. Oh my God, it was incredible. That's money and power, ladies. That's what we should be going for. Anyone can answer this if anyone's unmiked. How much do you think I paid for? I'm gonna ask the man first. Let's go with Mountain Man. How much do you think I paid him to leave? What do you think? He is on mute and he's still trying to talk. All right, I'm gonna go with Garrett, who's been looking suspicious this whole show. Garrett, what do you think?
50.
50, that's not bad. Let me ask a woman now. Okay, Stephanie, how much do you think I paid?
For him to leave?
Yeah.
$100.
$100? No man's worth $100. Get the fuck out of here.
Get him out of my house.
$100? No. Let me tell you something. Is that your boyfriend next to you?
No, this is my friend.
Okay, cool. I was gonna say, if you come home boyfriend, and she's got $100, you know she's kicking you the fuck out. But anyway, $100 is too much. No man's worth that much. You've overpaid if you paid that much. I paid him $63. Okay, $63.
Well, in Canadian, it's about the same.
I had
Yeah,
to.
we live in Canada. That's the same. That's the same.
What?
We live in Canada. $60 US is like 100 Canadian.
Okay, well, you fucked up the punchline. I don't care. I can't go to Canada. What am I going? No, I'm confined to my apartment. I'm not going to Canada. And listen, once we're out, Canada's not on my list. Do you think I'm in quarantine and I'm like, hey, let me go to Ottawa? No, I don't care. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I love Ottawa.
Anyway, I had to pay this guy. There was another man waiting downstairs. That's the punchline to that. I've got that boomerang pussy. They always bounce back. It happens all the time. Oh wow, Garrett's smiling at that one. He's like, I believe it. He wasn't suspicious this whole time. He's been silent. No. He was like, nah, I believe that bitch. She fucking has some dick on deck. All right, guys, that's been my time. You guys have been such a great audience. Thank you so much. Clap it up for your hosts again.
Christina.
Oh my gosh, your energy kills me every time. I love it. Everybody give another round of applause. So good. We're already down to our last comedian of the night, guys. So after this, definitely check out our drunk Zoom bartender if you have some free time after, because I know y'all ain't busy. So let's be real. We're not doing anything. It's Thursday night, going on 9. We have one more comedian left, you guys, and let's get right to it. Give a big round of applause for this guy. He's so funny. Haba. With his awesome quarantine beard, by the way. Look at that.
Thank you. I decided I wasn't gonna shave or cut my hair until I could get on stage again. And apparently that's what Ben Roethlisberger also did. He's not shaving or cutting his hair until he can throw passes again. So my sister said I'm just like Ben Roethlisberger. We're the same guy. We do all of the same things. Not the rape, though. We don't both do that. All right. I'm having a lot of fun in quarantine. It's funny, like we have this national or international global pandemic going on. It's, you know, we're writing history every day that we go through it. And like 20 years from now, if I have kids and they're like, I don't know, 13 or 14 years old, they could be like, what was that like to live through a pandemic? I'd be like, it was so fucking boring. You just do the exact same thing all the time. And like my older sister's a nurse. She's a nurse in the city, and her experience is totally different. Like she's running out of room to put bodies away, and I'm like learning about bread. You know, it's totally different things. I did learn this in quarantine though. Don't ever say you're really bored to somebody who owns a house. Because I said that to my sister, and she's like, oh, we have like a ton of stuff that you could come over and do then. And I went there to do some yard work. And like, we're gonna build a fence, which is something I know nothing about. Do you know step one of building a fence? Step one of building a fence is they give you a pickaxe and they're like, go get all of the rocks out of the ground. Which is what I had to do for like a week straight. There are so many fucking rocks. Like, did I steal a poster in North Korea? What are we doing here? This is crazy. We did get to use a chop saw though, to build the fence, which is something I hadn't done in a long time. I hadn't used a chop saw since I was in woodshop class in high school. When I was in woodshop, there was a girl who cut 3 of her fingers off with the chop saw. Yeah. And she still passed woodshop. You don't fail if you do that. I love woodshop. I took it for 2 years, and I was good at it too. In 1 year, I built like a wine cabinet for my brother. He still uses it. I built like a nice Adirondack chair for my parents, and I built an electric guitar for myself. And my friend Mike made 3 boxes of all the exact same size, and both of us got A's. So there's not really much of a grading rubric in woodshop. The girl who cut 3 of her fingers off also got an A.
Wow.
She would have to get like a 70% or something to walk away with the C. But no, they gave her an A. I dated a girl. This is a different story. I dated a girl a few years ago, and she came to me and she told me she was late on her period, which we were like 18, and she was a week late, which I've since found out is like really not a big deal. But she was a week late and she thought it was. And right around then, she went out and got like wasted drunk. Like she ended up in the hospital and they were pumping her stomach, like wasted drunk. And then a few days after that, she had like the heaviest period ever.
Oh.
What that means, yeah, she like peed out the baby or whatever, right? And she came to me and she's like, I had a miscarriage. And that's not the same thing, right? That's a word, is like your baby just died right in the beginning. And a miscarriage is also the same word if like you have a baby for like 6 months and then it dies inside of you. Miscarriage, I think, is a very imperfect word because it just sounds like such a whimsical way to describe such a horrible thing to happen. And say, hey, what'd you get up to this week? Like, oh, I actually had a really silly week. I ordered these socks online and, you know, I ordered smalls because I thought my feet were small, but I should have gotten medium because that would have been my size. Oh, and also my body killed my baby. I just had a miscarriage. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really having a tough week. I'm watching a lot of pornography in quarantine. I almost said in rehab. But in quarantine, I enjoy it. My favorite part of pornography is the coming part, obviously. But my favorite part of pornography on the internet is the ads that they have. Like if you go on Pornhub, they have all of these they have ads for like games that will pop up, and it's like this game will make you come in 20 seconds, which is just seems ridiculous. To have that's such a small amount of time. Like I don't know anybody who's just like, ah man, I really wish I could come, but I only have like half a minute before I gotta leave for work. Like, well, I have a game for you. My favorite ad on any of the websites is one that says, grow your dick with this one weird trick. And I know I'll get like a million ads or viruses if I click on it, but I really want to. I just got to see how weird is that one trick. Because the GIF is just a gentleman jerking off with like his dick half inside of a balloon. And I don't know how that could make your dick any bigger, but it is a pretty weird trick. Like if you went to a party and somebody was like, hey, Eli, do you know any tricks to entertain the people here? I'm like, I know a pretty weird trick. It's a balloon trick. We talked about miscarriage. We didn't talk about suicide. My writing process is I think of like the worst things I can think of and how I can kind of make them funny for people. I think the funniest way you could kill yourself would be with a Rube Goldberg machine. If you just constructed something that had like 70 steps and at the end it just killed you. And I think it would be best if it did it with like, it's whatever hits a thing and a ball rolls off and blah, blah, blah. And then something just like turns the stove, but like not all the way on. And so your apartment just fills with gas and it doesn't even kill you very quickly. And so that way, when the authorities come in, they're like, this guy was trying to save 10 minutes off his morning by not having to make breakfast. And then nobody's even that upset. Apparently, there's a phenomenon called coupling. And this is when if you try to kill yourself and the way you try to kill yourself doesn't work, then you just don't do it anymore. And that's not what would happen if you did it with a Rube Goldberg machine, because you would have to try and kill yourself like 100 different times. And you guess you would never really know if it worked the last time. there was something people were talking about in San Francisco, the Golden Gate Bridge. They had all these people were killing themselves by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. And then the city came in and they put nets underneath. And all of a sudden, the suicide rate in San Francisco plummeted. And they said because of the coupling, the people got caught by the nets, they wouldn't kill themselves anymore. I think that they just went to a different bridge. I think if they got caught, they probably just went to the George Washington Bridge or something and took that road trip they always wanted to take. Also, what would the nets even be made? I don't understand that. Like, would they be hard to see, like a spider web, and the people like try to jump off it, they don't even know, and then they get caught in it? Or do you think like they're like strong rope nets, and the people are looking like, I think I can probably clear that, and then they couldn't do it? Okay. I had one more thing I wanted to say about suicide. I'll shut it down. If you Google how to tie a noose, the first thing that comes up is the suicide prevention hotline number, which I guess makes sense. But it's like, how are they? Do you think they're really stopping people with that? Because if you scroll just a little bit further down, the very next thing is how to tie a noose in 8 steps with pictures. And it's like a wiki how on how to get there. All right. I've been Eli Haba. If you guys want to find me somewhere, my home address is 732 27th Street in City, New Jersey. I'll be here for the foreseeable future. And thank you very much.
Yay! Hope everyone live on YouTube got that. All the visitors are coming. You guys, everyone in the audience, let's give our comics one more round of applause. We're putting on stuff all the time. We solely run off of donations, so anything you give helps everyone that puts on these shows, and we really appreciate it. If you have time, definitely check out Rude Bartender. If not, check out our other events going on throughout the week. And join us back here next Thursday for another show. Thank you guys so much. Check out the chat for links before we have to shut this thing down. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you. Thanks, Joanne. Thanks so much, guys. Everyone, all the comedians, you guys were great tonight. Obviously,
Thank you.
We don't go to the Rude Bar for like another 15 minutes, so we can just leave it open, honestly. So if you guys want to chill, we'll leave it open for hangouts. But thanks for coming, everyone.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
I'll hang out here until other people leave.
Cool.
Christiana, how are you?
I'm all right.